People say stairs do not matter until the right one-level home makes them pause. You can feel the shift during a showing. The front door opens, the main living space is right there, and the kitchen is easy to find. The bedrooms make sense. The backyard feels like part of the home instead of a separate project.
Nobody needs to be convinced with some big speech. The house just feels easier to live in. That's why single-story homes in Carson City get more attention than a lot of buyers expect. Stairs are part of the conversation, but they're not the whole story.
A good one-level home can fit the version of your life you may have now while leaving room for the version of what might show up later. We do all get older. And maybe you're moving up and you want the next house to feel a little bit less complicated.
Maybe you're downsizing and you don't want to feel like you gave up comfort. Or maybe you're relocating and trying to make one smart decision instead of buying something that only works for the next couple of years. Whatever brought you here, single-story homes deserve a closer look because the demand around them is rarely accidental.
If you're searching Carson City right now, comment whether a single story is a must-have for you or is just something you just strongly prefer. That answer tells us a lot about what you're thinking through the next chapter. I'm Jill Larson with the Larson Miller Group.
And I'm Rhett Miller.
And we help buyers and sellers, move-up homeowners, and investors make confident real estate decisions throughout Carson City and Northern Nevada.
The appeal usually starts with daily movement. Think about how you actually use a house on a normal day. Groceries come in from the garage, someone lets the dog outside, guests drift toward the kitchen, laundry moves from one room to another, and you walk through the same few spaces way more times than you realize. A floor plan either supports that rhythm or it keeps interrupting it.
One-level living can make the ordinary parts of a day feel a lot smoother. They may not sound exciting in a listing description, but buyers notice it really in person. The house feels calm because the layout is not asking something for them to solve. When the kitchen, the living room, the bedroom, the garage, and the yard connect naturally, the property can feel more comfortable than a larger home that splits up and is awkwardly laid out.
That's why square footage alone can mislead buyers. A bigger house doesn't always live better. Sometimes the smaller one-level home feels more usable because the rooms are exactly where you need them to be. That matters in Carson City, especially for buyers who care about practical ownership as much as the look of the home. You may want outdoor space, room for pets, storage for gear, easier access to your yard, or a garage that doesn't feel super disconnected from the rest of the house.
The caution is simple. One level does not automatically mean good design. Single-story homes can actually feel tight. Others have long hallways and wasted space. A few places, bedrooms that can feel too close to the living room, which can make a home feel less private than expected.
Older additions can also create a strange flow if the house is expanded over time without a lot of planning. So when you see single story in a listing, don't stop there. Walk through the home as if you already own it. Picture where your keys land when you come inside. Notice whether the garage entry is convenient. Pay attention to how a guest would move through the house. Open the backyard door and ask whether that space feels easy to use.
A strong one-level home does not need a lot of explanation. You understand the layout quickly because it fits the way people actually live. And that is the standard I want us to use. Now, downsizers tend to understand the value of a single-story home faster than almost anyone. A person living in a larger house is not always looking for less of a life.
Usually, they want less wasted space or less upkeep, and fewer parts of the home that feel disconnected from the way that they're living every day. The right one-level property can make that transition feel intentional. You can still have a beautiful kitchen, comfortable guest space, privacy, storage, and a yard that gives the home personality.
What changes in the amount of the house what asks for attention without giving much back? The big difference is downsizing should not feel like a shrinking your life. If it's done well, it can feel like removing the parts of the ownership that become heavy.
A single-story home can support that kind of move because the layout often makes the home feel more direct, more manageable, and more useful. Move-up buyers are going to come at this from a different angle. Maybe the current house technically has enough rooms, but the way that it lives has started to just kind of wear on you. The stairs feel inconvenient, the yard doesn't connect to the main living space, parking is awkward, bedrooms are separated in a way that no longer fits the household.
A larger home may not solve those problems if the layout keeps creating that friction. This is why a single-story home can feel like an upgrade even when the square footage is not dramatically bigger. The improvements come from how the house actually works. For some buyers, that matters more than adding another room they may barely even use. Retirees and long-term planners often prioritize single-level homes because they're thinking ahead. Stairs may be easy today, but life can change very quickly. A knee injury, surgery, recovery, visiting family, aging parents, or an older dog can make two-story layouts feel different than it did when you first bought it. Planning for that is not dramatic.
It's realistic. The goal is to choose a home that doesn't force another move before you're ready. That's one of the quiet strengths of a good single-story property. It can give you a longer runway. Relocation buyers often like that flexibility too. When you're moving to Carson City from another area, you might not know exactly how your routines are going to settle.
One-level homes can be easier to adapt around because the main parts of life are already on the same floor. Guests can visit more comfortably, pets usually adjust well, your future needs are easier to picture. The layout gives you options without making the home feel overly specialized, and that is part of why single-story demand reaches beyond one buyer group. You may be competing with downsizers, move-up buyers, relocators, long-term planners that want the home to feel less complicated and more usable.
Competition doesn't mean that every single-story home is automatically a strong buy. The price still has to make sense, the condition still matters, and location can change the whole decision. The yard, garage, parking, updates, and overall layout still need to support the purchase. When those pieces line up, that's when buyers should really take the home seriously.
Waiting too long can be risky because that appeal is broad. One-level homes with the right combination of comfort, condition, location can catch the attention from people in the very different stages of life. And that is why some of them move faster than expected. Now, the lot deserves its own conversation. Single-story homes use land differently because the space spreads out instead of stacking up.
That can make the home feel connected and grounded and close to your yard. It can also leave less outdoor room if the lot is tight. You can't know which one you're getting from the phrase single story. Stand outside and study how the home sits on the property. You want to look at the patio, the driveway, garage, side yard, fencing, and any space you would actually be using.
A buyer with an RV, boat, trailer, pets, hobbies, gardening plans, or outdoor gear need to take that part really seriously. A house can be one level and still fail the property use test. The best version gives you easy movement inside and practical function outside. And that combination is what makes many Carson City buyers really lean in.
Maintenance also needs a clear eye. Single-story homes can make certain parts of the ownership feel easier. Exterior access could be simpler, cleaning can feel more manageable, daily movement throughout the home often takes less effort. But none of that erases the condition of the home. The roof age, windows, plumbing, electrical, drainage, HVAC, insulation, appliances, landscaping, and prior updates all still matter. A one-level home with deferred maintenance can become expensive really quickly.
An older property may have the exact layout you want and still require a serious repair budget. A newer one may feel simple because it still deserves a full inspection. Layout gets your attention, but condition gives you the confidence. You want both before you move forward. This is where buyers sometimes get too forgiving, and they really shouldn't. The love and ease of the floor plan and start excusing issues that they would question in another home, and that really can be dangerous. A strong layout should not make you ignore the parts of the house that cost a lot of money after closing.
For sellers, single-story demand creates a real opportunity if your home is marketed well. The listing should do more than mention that everything is on one level. Buyers need to understand how that home lives. Show the movement from garage to kitchen. Make the yard connection really clear. Highlight your storage, privacy, guest comfort, maintenance updates, and the parts of the layout that make your daily life easier.
A large two-story home may look stronger on square footage, and your advantage may be that one-level home feels better from the moment someone walks in. That story really matters. The right buyer may choose usability over size. If you own that kind of property, that marketing should make that value obviously without overselling it. Single story is not just about a checkbox when the home itself supports the promise. Now, not every buyer should make one level the priority.
Some households need separation between bedrooms and living spaces. Teenagers, guests, remote work, hobbies, or the multi-generational needs that can make a two-story home more practical. Budget can also influence the choice because certain buyers may get more total square footage by considering both layouts, and that's why the search should stay honest.
A single-story home is popular for a lot of good reasons. Popularity does not mean it's the right for every single buyer. You still have to choose the layout that fits your actual life. If a two-story home gives you the privacy, the space, and the function you need, that may be a better decision. The point is not to chase a trend, it's to understand why one-level homes hold the attention and decide whether that value really applies to you. When a single-story home comes up in Carson City, I would slow down and look at 5 things.
Start with the flow, because a home should feel natural when you're moving through it. Privacy comes next, since bedrooms can feel too exposed if the layout's not very thoughtful. And storage deserves a closer look than buyers usually give it. Outdoor connection matters because the yard, the patio, your garage, driveway, and your side access can change how the property works. Condition should be the final test before the excitement takes over. Those 5 pieces tell you whether the single-story advantage is real. A home can have one level and still feel wrong.
Another property may be the modest on paper, but live beautifully because the floor plan, the lot, the maintenance, and the picture all support one another. This is one for buyers to really remember. So why are single-story homes so popular in Carson City?
A good one-level home just wears better over time. You feel it when the house still works for all your guests, pets, daily routines, future mobility, and the parts of life that change before you can really expect them to. That kind of usefulness is quiet during a showing, but can become the reason that buyers move quickly when the right one appears.
If you find a single-story home with the right location, smart layout, condition, usable yard, and a price that makes sense, we really want you to take that seriously. The property may be easier to live in today and easier to sell later.
When the layout is awkward, the maintenance picture is weak, or the lot doesn't support the way you want to live, one level should not carry the decision by itself. The home still has to earn it. If you're looking for single-story home in Carson City and want to understand which ones are actually worth moving on, reach out, and we can talk through the location, the layout, condition, and the long-term fit before you make a decision.
Subscribe for more Carson City and Northern Nevada real estate breakdowns, because the best home is not always the biggest, the newest, or the most dramatic. Sometimes it's the better choice that one still works for the life changes that you have.